Hey everyone, Jessiana Seville here from the Kidney RD. I'm really excited to be here. So I did a couple of videos last week and didn't have any sound, so I was just talking nonsense and very animated face and nothing else because I'm very animated when I talk on video. Anyway, so I apologize. I'm going to repeat one of these because it's super important to know about your gut. If you go onto Google Scholar, just any medical search, and you type in kidney gut axis, you'll see AXIS, axis, then you will see that there is a tie between your gut and your kidneys. It is not unusual for us at the Kidney RD to be working with people to preserve their kidney function and improving their gut health simultaneously. And it's also not unusual, especially in autoimmune conditions, for people to have some pretty significant gut symptoms, which maybe there's diagnosis IBS or nothing, and we're working on those along with their kidney function. And for us, we really focus on the gut because it helps us preserve kidney function. And that's the goal, is we want to identify every single target where we can help people preserve their kidney function. So I want to give you 5 signs that your gut needs a tune-up. These are things that sometimes we joke about, whatever, but they're things that you should pay attention to because they do mean something when it comes to your gut health. So I'm using a new streaming today, so I hope it works out okay. So the first thing is burping. Excessive burping. So we're all going to burp a little bit. Maybe you have a soda, you burp. But if you're burping every time you eat or frequently throughout the day, that is not a good sign. It means that there is probably an imbalance in your stomach acid. So why does that matter? Why do you care about your stomach acid? Is because your stomach acid is your first line of defense for your body before things get into the gut. And your gut interfaces directly with your bloodstream. So this is a big deal, having your stomach acid correct. So if you notice you're burping a lot, something that is very simple, not baking soda, but something that would be very simple is to start your meals with some lemon water, maybe 2 tablespoons, quarter cup or so before your meals, or a little bit of apple cider vinegar if you can tolerate it, and that would be something that you could do. So that's the first thing, is if you notice yourself burping, pay attention to that. And just, as a very basic, may do good, won't do harm intervention, do a little bit of lemon juice. So second thing that is definitely a sign is heartburn. If you notice you have a lot of acid reflux after you eat, that also is not a good sign. If you're uncomfortable, if your food sits in your stomach heavy like a rock, any of those is also a bad sign. For the same reason, it's about your stomach acid. Most of the time we think about heartburn as having too much stomach acid, and there's too much and that's why it's coming up, that's why it's burning. It's actually the opposite in many cases, not all, but most cases, it's actually too low of stomach acid. One of the big problems with this as well is that when people start having acid reflux a lot, one of the common interventions is to put people on a proton pump inhibitor medication. Or PPI. Omeprazole is a common one that people are on, and these are not good for the kidneys. So if you're noticing that you have heartburn, that's something you'd want to look into as well. You can do a similar, you can have a similar intervention where you simply just need to do some lemon juice or whatever. Okay, second one. We all laugh about this, but it actually can be a really big deal. So second one is if you have gas, right? So maybe you are having, gas at the top or the bottom, but if you're having a lot of gas, that is another sign that something is off in your digestive process. Either you're not having enough digestive enzymatic activity, which can happen for some people. As your food goes from your stomach, drops into the small bowel, you start having enzymes released. So maybe that's not happening. Or maybe the bacteria in your gut, right? The bacteria in your gut are so important. They're like a second organism, a second brain even, they call them. If the bacteria in your gut are imbalanced, you're going to also not metabolize or digest your food well, and you can have gas. So if you're having a lot of gas with your meals, that may be a concern. Some people will say, yeah, but I'm eating more plants now, I'm eating more beans now, so of course I'm going to be gassy. If it's acute, maybe just for a week or 2 weeks, that's okay. But if it's ongoing for a long time, you need to look into that. Even if you do eat a lot of beans, if you're eating a lot of beans and you're always gassy, it means you're not producing the right enzymes to break them down. So what is that? Number 3. Okay, second thing, common, bloating. If you're bloating after you eat, or maybe throughout the day you feel very bloated, this is another sign. Bloating often can come from excess gas production. But if you're bloating a lot and feeling uncomfortable, this is another sign that you may need to have a little bit of tune-up as far as your gut goes. So both for gas and bloating, an easy, won't hurt, but might help intervention is just doing something real simple like a digestive enzyme. They're, $6, $10, just really inexpensive ones at the store. And that's something that you can add into your regimen. Just follow the package, one before your meal, and just see if you feel better. If you don't, you might need to do a deeper dive, but for some people, that's all they need is just a little bit more enzymes in their diet. Other people, especially with bloating and gas, they'll try cutting out dairy and cutting out wheat or gluten in their diet. And for some people, that makes a difference. But if you have gas, if you have bloating, both of those are a sign that something is off in your gut. And again, it may not be as simple as an enzyme, or it may not be as simple as just enzyme, cutting out wheat, cutting out dairy. That's a good place to start. You may need to do a deeper dive, especially if it's been a long-term problem, but those are still things you can try proactively. Last one, and this may be obvious, but it's so important. The output of our body, our stool, tells us a lot about what's going on the inside. So if you're having constipation, meaning for most people, if you're not having a bowel movement every day, or if you are having diarrhea, or if your stool is yellow or clay colored and not just a normal brown color, those are not good signs of what's going on inside your gut. You may need to do something about that. You see diarrhea frequently after people have been on antibiotics. That can be common in chronic kidney disease. If you're on antibiotics or need to take them, you always want to make sure you're going to take a probiotic with it. Not with the pill, but 2 hours separately from the pill. But because you want to keep your gut flora replenished and strong. If you're having constipation and diarrhea, again, a probiotic or a prebiotic may be helpful. Just getting even just a really simple probiotic like Culturelle at the grocery store can be a start. We use some specialty probiotics at the Kidney RD. They're a little bit more high-end, a little bit more expensive, but we use them for particular reasons. But you can see if that helps, especially with the constipation or diarrhea. Constipation also, sometimes you just need to increase your fluid intake. If you don't have a fluid restriction, just getting a little bit more water in you, some extra fiber with more fruits and vegetables can also help out with that. Either way, you do not want to be constipated because you're going to have the uremic toxins just sitting in your gut. You definitely want to keep your stool moving through. That's common gut health, something that's important. And for diarrhea, you just want to target that and figure out what's causing it. Is it a pathogen? Is it the lining of your gut? Anyways, so those are your 5 signs that something might need a tune-up in your gut. Don't ignore it and just say, no one knows what it is. Better not look at this. If you're dealing with kidney disease, this is a huge opportunity to preserve your kidney health, and getting some guidance in your total nutrition plan can be really, really helpful. So at the Kidney RD, we do 30-minute complimentary nutrition strategy calls, so we can tell people about what we do and maybe answer a few questions for them. Our goal, no matter what in that call, is to get you somewhere, to get help from someone, even if it's not from us, because we believe and advocate for nutrition being a first-line treatment for kidney disease. Anyways, that's all, and I look forward to seeing you guys again on here with the Daily Lives. Bye-bye.